So last night I watched the Super Bowl, and I want to be clear with you guys right out of the gate. I do not follow football. I don't keep up with it. I don't care. I just watch the Super Bowl once a year because it has turned into a cultural phenomenon. And for me and my family, it's just an excuse to eat chicken wings. That's all it is. It's like Thanksgiving in February with a big football game playing in the background, and we laugh at the commercials. That's all it is for us. I don't have a dog in the fight one way or the other. I don't have a favorite team. I don't wake up the next day stressed nor celebrating. Um, I'm talking today, though, about a lot of the reactions that I've seen about the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, and especially about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. And just when you think people can't get any dumber, oh, trust me, they can absolutely get dumber. The comments and the posts that I have seen from people bitching about this game and bitching about Taylor and Travis is some of the most ridiculous stuff that I have ever read in my life. People thinking the game was rigged. It was all a big conspiracy theory. It's all a big sop. It's got to be one of the most arrogant belief systems I've ever seen to believe that just because things don't go your way, that it had to all be rigged against you. That you couldn't entertain the idea that you could possibly lose at something. Do you know how many times in my life I get disappointed? Do you know how many times in my life that I lose? What do? I just keep moving forward. That's what most people do, but not MAGA Republicans. No, they have to go out of their way. They can't wrap their mind around the thought that they could ever lose at anything. They can't wrap their mind around the thought that what they read on the internet wasn't true. No, I've seen it with my own eyes. I know it's true. And so they go through this world thinking the whole world is rigged against them, and now football games are rigged against them. And they're cheering for the 49ers. Think about that one for a minute. How many MAGA Republicans was cheering for the 49ers before last night? They were cheering for San Francisco. Think about that. Take all the time you need. But the absolute ridiculous rhetoric that I see when they're talking about Taylor and Travis is just off the charts. We'll start with Travis Kelce first. And again, I'm somebody that don't follow and keep up with football, all right? Last year, when I watched Travis Kelce in the Super Bowl, if I remembered his name during the game, I promise you I forgot it the next morning. That's not a knock on the guy. I'm just somebody that don't follow football. So I started keeping up with Travis Kelce because he's dating Taylor Swift. And again, it's not a knock. It's just that I'm a dude that follows news and politics, and that's where I see him at now. But I saw people making comments about the way he was dressed coming into the Super Bowl. He had on this suit that had a lot of glitter on it. And I saw people saying things like, boy, that ain't manly. A real man wouldn't dress like that. I'm like, do you realize that guy would absolutely run through you? Do you realize that guy would absolutely drag you for days? I mean, it's ridiculous that anybody wants to sit and call him any less of a man because of the way he wants to dress. I'm 6'3", 240 pounds. I can hold my own, but I wouldn't dare try to stand toe-to-toe with that dude. No way in hell. And let me tell you something. For everybody out there, all these guys that calls themselves alpha males and walks around screaming and hollering all the time, more on that later. To those guys, I would say this. The B-string player that sits on the bench that never gets a chance to actually play, that guy could run you over. So the idea that, he's less of a man because he's dressed that way is absolutely ridiculous. And then we get to his banter, the way that he talks. There's a lot of, man, listen to him carrying on like that. Look how disrespectful he is bumping that coach. I bet old Taylor will break up with him before too long for domestic violence. That's one violent dude right there. Ain't you guys the same ones that rubbed paint on your face and went to the Capitol, put bullhorns on your head, and tased each other in the nuts? I mean, ain't that you guys that done that? I mean, have you ever saw Alex Jones's act? I know you have. I know you listen to it going back and forth to work every day. That guy's pretty worked up. I mean, it's ridiculous that they would pick that bone with Travis Kelce because, again, as somebody who never watched football, if I didn't know anything at all about Travis Kelce and I just saw him up there screaming and talking the way he does on the microphone, I would think he was a MAGA Republican. And again, don't mean it as a knock toward the guy, but that's their banter. That's their rhetoric. You would think they would love the guy for that, but we all know it's only because he's dating Taylor Swift. He took the vaccine, and they're all worked up about it. And, of course, they're all worked up over the fact that the camera cuts to Taylor whenever it shows Travis in a bind or shows Travis score or whatever the case may be. They'll cut to Taylor Swift. Well, can we be realistic for a minute? Taylor Swift is one of the most successful artists of anyone's lifetime, okay? And she's money. She draws money everywhere she goes. The NFL would be stupid to not put the camera on her, okay? Because she has brought an entirely new audience into the NFL, people seeing it for the very first time. And so, of course, they're going to show her. And it's so ridiculous, people sitting back going, look at how she's acting. Look at her cheering that guy. I'm like, again, you guys go to Trump rallies and you put flags on every vehicle you have and fly it off your shoulders, and you're mad because she's excited at a game. You're mad over the way she's dressed. I mean, it's ridiculous. You're mad because she chugged a beer. Really? The same ones as you? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that of all people that's bashing that it would be, MAGA Republicans bashing it. It's just ridiculous to me. Now, up until just yesterday, I had never listened to Taylor Swift's music. I just had never listened to it. I wouldn't have knew one song if it came on. So I messaged some friends of mine. I was like, hey, what's an album that I could listen to as someone who's never listened to Taylor Swift's music? And I sat and I listened to the album Reputation. And I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm saying, okay, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke at you Swifties, okay? It's not like old Brando's going to be blasting this in his car every day, but I will say she's a great lyricist. She sings great. She delivers it well, and it's masterfully crafted pop music. I mean, I don't know how anyone could really knock it. It's not, I mean, I can say that about a lot of different kinds of music. It's not my thing. I'm not going to go back to it. But she's a damn good artist, and she's a successful artist. And she's successful because of her talents, not because Donald Trump signed in the Music Modernization Act. And that's something else we got to talk about. His ridiculous post going off the rails about how, Taylor would never endorse Biden. She would have to endorse me because I'm the only one that ever helped her. And there are people in this world dumb enough to believe they'll go around, the only reason she's successful is because of Trump. The only reason she's successful is because he signed at their, what's that called there? At Music Modernization, at Music Monitor. Yeah, if he hadn't signed that, she wouldn't have made it. And then you got people like John Rich. I know you guys don't even know who he is, and I'm not even going to tell you who he is. Just Google it. But he's out there bitching about, she didn't say nothing because Toby Keith passed. Toby Keith gave her a record deal. Toby Keith made her who she was. I don't know why she didn't say anything about Toby Keith's passing. It's none of my business. But I know that she would have made it with or without Toby Keith, Donald Trump, or anyone else. This whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous. And some people will say to me, Brando, why do you keep talking about that? Like, why do you keep talking about Taylor Swift? And why do you make these ridiculous memes and pass them around? It's because I feel like I'm a guy who is reacting to people who have gone crazy. I saw Dan Aykroyd one time. I believe it was him, or it was somebody from that group of comedians that said, the only thing funnier than watching a man go crazy is watching a man watch a man go crazy. That's me. That's Brando. I'm just watching the world go crazy and reacting to it. And trying to show people sometimes just how ridiculous it is because, I really feel like there's people sitting there on the fence. They're watching the Super Bowl with their over-the-top MAGA cousins or husbands or brothers or whatever. And they're sitting there going, man, this is really some crap. I can't believe they're getting this worked up. And those people sitting there on the fence are the ones that I'm hoping stumbles across my videos and goes, yeah, screw it. I'm just going to go ahead and speak out too because this is ridiculous.